he's trying to like emotionally blackmail the club. Like
that's exactly what it is.
Gaslight the club.
Bro,
like,
I've seen
because
this
before.
But they are not willing to pay the extra 5 million to sign you, and you are now throwing tantrums for the club that basically helped you revive your career. Yeah. Like, what are we doing here? Let's be serious. And he released an entire statement like as if they are holding him bondage or something.
You know what would solve all of this?
Work.
Look, at this level of business, gentleman's agreement should not exist. Yeah, there are people that honor it, but at the end of the day, it's not binding. Episode 26 of the OnlyFootball Podcast, ladies and gentlemen. We are back on your screens. Thank you very much for working with us up till now. We are starting to notice a pattern of a few of you who seem to like what you get consistently on a weekly basis. Every Friday, sometimes Saturday, on Pulse Sports Nigeria. Thank you very much. My name is Tunde Young, flanked by my nearest and dearest, Ayoola Kelechi, on the other side.
Ayoola looking really nice today.
But the person that was pointing to end significantly more, and that's Joba Ogunwale. And right next to him is Faruq Ibrahim. And on the left side of the couch is Puja before and after the ref.
All right, 1-0.
Puja after January fasting.
Puja in the 90s, Puja in the 2000s.
21st of the month, Puja.
You guys realize that like insulting him.
Puja in the 10th, Puja in the 25th.
That's funny. So, what day Puja does that make you?
Yeah. That was uncalled for. That was uncalled for.
I'm sorry.
Now, hope you afford that Ankara day.
That's what I meant.
I don't actually think they can't afford Ankara. It's just it's a sizing issue.
You can't pull it off.
Come here, it's baggy for me now. It won't be baggy for you.
They reach like 10 yards, so throws her.
You don't have to say just no. Anyway, we actually have things to talk about, but let me introduce them properly. Izuchukwu joins us after a very long day of content shooting, but he still has. You have one more in you, don't you?
No.
Oh, no.
You can see him bringing his energy. And of course, right next to him is Ayoola Kelechi. Peace. So, let's get the show on the road, guys. There's a lot to talk about. If we end up talking about it or not, we shall do what we can in the limited time frame. And there's a lot of places to start, but there's one place I want to start, and that's with Ademola Lookman and his very messy situation.
I think I'm here to run down what we are going to talk about.
When you have your own show, you can do whatever you want.
It's not your show, you don't work here.
Don't worry yourself. It's not my show, I agree. The show is for Pulse Sports Nigeria. But when you are the host of your own show, whatever, if you like the reading name of Taliban members, whatever you do, your pastime, I don't care. But for now, you will shut up. These guys. Anyway. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe, and as we continue to enjoy our very unhealthy relationship. But yes, Ademola Lookman, the situation with Atalanta is getting very messy. And does anybody want to help us with this? The statement was very long, so I don't think we should even read the statement. But the general gist of it is, I want to leave, you should let me go. You promised me you will let me leave, and now you're rejecting offers. I never want to play for this club again, but thank you to the people of Atalanta, though. That's basically what he said. But what are our feelings? Zizu? You're a very opinionated guy.
Anyways, I feel like you said, it's quite messy at the moment. From Osimhen to Lookman. I think when Lookman brought out that statement, I thought it was an interesting one. Transfer requests published and all that. I think this is the second time he's releasing statement, right?
Yeah. The last one was about that issue.
Yeah, that's very, So obviously, it obviously touched him, and he had to force that thing, only for the club to come out and say that, okay, yes, we had an agreement, but we said top club and outside Italy. Outside Italy. The same club that, rejected PSG, for example, confirmed that they rejected PSG, So, at the end of the day, I don't really like the place it is, because at this moment the guy has he's no longer training. Strike, obviously, trying to force the way out of it, and knowing some of these clubs, especially in Italy, the way they do things, I don't know if that saga would, because I don't know what's another Osimhen situation where they begin to make it very difficult, for him to leave. When I first saw that, I was like, top club? What do you mean top club aside, what was it called? Italy. But Gasperini went to Roma. Your legendary coach went to Roma and all that. It doesn't make any sense to me, to be honest. It doesn't really make any sense to me. Which other top club? What do you mean by top club? You already rejected PSG that came. So if your idea is you will let him go for a top club, why did you not let him leave for...
To be fair, PSG were on that bidding. PSG brought 20 million for
that was last year as well.
Yeah, for somebody that
they should
was
have
set to win the CAF Player of the Year, you are bidding 20 million for him.
They should have found a way.
I hate to be on this side of the divide, especially as the best player in question is Nigerian and one of our best players for the Super Eagles. But with the information we have at hand, I'm on the club side. I'm sorry. I don't like it when players do not respect their contract. I don't like it. Like, you know what you signed. You know you have 2 years left on your contract. And now you are going on strike to try to force a move to your club's rivals. Like, Atalanta competed for the Serie A title this campaign. And they came third, or was it fourth? Third. So, yeah, it is understandable that they do not want to sell to their rivals. Or with what he's saying that the club I don't get this stuff that these players are doing. We heard the same thing with Gyökeres. What do you mean by you promised me? Like, you and somebody signed contract. Now you're now saying that you send me, I promise you that I will do this thing. Like, what are we doing here?
Sounds,
like, why don't
sounds too much like what the babe would say.
No. See.
No, sorry.
That agreement.
No,
I mean,
yes.
Fergie had it with Ronaldo.
Okay. And now he has said that, just like he has said that, okay, we will sell you, but we would only
better offer.
Yeah, why would I sell you to my rival for a cut price? Are we saying now that what Ademola Lookman has 2 years left in his contract, in the prime of his career, is 27?
1 year actually.
No, plus one. They have the option and it's club option, so it's 2 years. So are we telling me you are telling me now that he's worth 45 million? What makes this thing so befuddling is that the club that wants you, they are not willing to pay what you are worth, and you are now throwing tantrums for the club that has been paying your salary. Atlanta are asking for. We know it's not like we don't know what Atlanta wants. They want 50 million, and these people are bidding 45 million. They are not willing to pay the extra 5 million to meet.
Even the 45 million is like ridiculously broken up in stock.
They are not willing to pay the extra 5 million to sign you, and you are now throwing tantrums for the club that basically helped you revive your career. Yeah. Like, what are we doing here? Let's be serious. And you release an entire statement like as if they are holding in bondage or something. I mean, I hate to be on the side of the big corporation. I do. But let's learn to respect our contract here, please.
As much as it makes me look bad, I seem to agree with Faruq on this to an extent. In the sense that players need to stop. It sounds childish to me when you say we have a gentleman's agreement. That doesn't exist in any business. It does, because, yes, it's gentleman's agreement just basically means you leave it to the discretion of the person to honor it or not. And situations change, circumstances change. And in this case, it doesn't even feel like a lot had to even change. Just a case of Atalanta's president has come out to say we don't want to sell you to the rival. So even if we do, it would have to make sense financially. And that seems to be a reasonable. But my issue now is, which is what I want to throw to the rest of you, because a lot of Nigerians are always, especially when the Nigerian players is involved, are always quick to,
through the racism,
go the racism or discrimination route, or they are maltreating this guy because it's Nigeria. Not everything is even maltreated. Like, we should actually sometimes look at the facts of a case. And I'm now hearing a lot of talk of these are Italian players, these are Italian clubs treat our players, blah 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 blah. Joba, is there any credence to it?
I mean, I can understand where they are coming from, because if you look at when this is not the first time Italian clubs will be selling players to each other. Pirlo played for Inter Milan, Juventus, AC Milan, and all that. So
I think it was all free transfers.
All free transfers. Yeah, I understand. So I don't buy the idea that they don't want to sell or someone to their direct rival.
By the idea that they don't sell their best player to a
It
direct
has,
rival.
I mean, it happened with Cup Miners last season. Same Atalanta. Cup Miners went on a strike, and eventually it forced Atalanta's and they were.
So it's not an African thing.
And for how much? And for how much?
For what you're even saying,
I didn't know
It was 50 million.
I didn't know how much.
for what you're saying, it means it's not even like an anomaly for them to not want to sell.
Not want to sell. Like,
I mean, Osimhen as well. Osimhen also, one of the reasons that his deal was held up was because they wanted a clause in the Galatasaray deal that says he can't go back to Italy within the next 2 years. So it's clear that even though it doesn't always seem like it, there's definitely some competition between the.
Especially I think for even the very best players, which is understandable. If you have the same goal, I don't want you to have my best player.
And the Serie A happens to be the most competitive league in the world right now in terms of number of teams competing for the league title.
Europe?
Yeah, in top five leagues. The number of teams competing for the league title. Atlanta see themselves as people that can win the league.
They had a shot until like the final.
But I also understand Lookman's side of things, because you look at it, Lookman is 27. I think he turns 28.
He turns 28 in October.
So he knows that this is his last chance to probably get
Which is why you should not be taking gentleman's agreement in 2025.
Also, get the club that wants you to pay 5 million more to sign. Also, his agents went around.
No, you know why I disagree with that one? From the club's perspective, and that's also what Lookman is doing, and that's where I think it will probably infuriate Atalanta even more, force their hand to sell, is that essentially caps its value now at 45. Nobody's bidding more than 45 now for a player that we know for a fact wants to leave. And also, it was the same thing with Inter Milan being able to, when you agree personal terms with the player, it's because you know that, okay, this player is available, we can actually get him. He wants to leave, and he has an agreement with the club to leave for so amount. That's why they were able to bid for that, and that's why Lookman is also feeling scorned, because you told me you will let me go for this amount. Yes, the amount, but you are not letting me go.
I mean, it just happens that whoever it is that is Lookman's representatives, they find a way to do something like that. Last year, or when PSG bid 20 million, Lookman's agents went around telling them they could get him for that price. And when Luis Campos was asked why they did not eventually sign him, he said we were lied to. Because it's clear that something like that keeps happening. Like, why do you not have it just
the true valuation of your
it just seems like. Also, it annoys me, because what do you mean you cannot pay 5? Atletico Madrid were interested, and if Atletico Madrid had bid that for 5 million, Atlanta would have accepted. But Atletico Madrid need to sell one of their forwards first before they can start even.
And also the player even already made it clear he doesn't want to go there. So
he did not actually.
He said he didn't want to go to England.
Napoli was who he rejected. Now Napoli were even willing to pay him more than Inter Milan. So Inter had been stingy, or what's that word? They have been skint.
It's not though. It's knowing for a fact that you can get this player for this amount.
Okay, then
not going over that.
Lookman should face them and not the club that is.
Lookman wants to join them. Lookman wants to join. I understand it from his perspective, but let's examine this from every angle. So where do you stand on players going on strike to force a move? Because it seems the perception of that seems to always change depending on who is involved in it. People like it or don't like it depending on who is doing it, or what club is trying to sign it.
Like I said, I don't know why anybody is angry that people have agreements. People have contracts, right? And also there are agreements that allows you to soften down whatever contract you have from both parties, because when it comes to contract, it's for both parties. So both parties have to agree. So like I said, when Manchester United allowed Ronaldo go, he was supposed to go a year earlier. Despite the contract, there was a gentleman agreement that spend 1 more year. If they come, we'll let you.
Yeah, you already paid the world record.
Hold on. The first port of call is that
we agree.
There is an agreement between you two. I mean, Lookman has always given everything.
But what's that agreement called?
No. I don't know what it's called, but what I'm saying is this. Lookman has delivered everything he has to deliver. He has given the club everything. So probably that is what gave the leverage for an agreement, a gentleman agreement that, okay, if so and so happen, or maybe next summer, allow me go. You understand? So if you look at the Gyökeres home, for example. Gyökeres said they also had an agreement. So apparently some of these clubs, it seems they just want to do this agreement and do not want to keep to it. So for example, Fergie kept to Ronaldo's own. So after this season, right, it was active that this guy is not going to stay. But so they found a way to let him go. So, but we had to also get what we can. Do you understand? So the point now is, if you have agreed that this summer you will let this guy go, all you have to do is find a solution to it. So if you're saying 5 million is today, this is not the first time where we've seen clubs, haggle over 5 million.
I understand you, but listen to me a bit here. There is a reason it's called the gentleman's agreement. You take it away from the law.
Also, they are not even denying it.
You put it. Nobody is denying that the agreement.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That the guy has settled down to do what he's supposed to do, giving his all. It is now time.
No, like
both parties should be. If probably the reason why Lookman, I'm not even trying to defend him or anything, but I'm saying that probably the reason he came out this way is maybe they don't even want to.
Like the agreement is not being honored.
Yes,
but that's what I'm trying.
Yes,
to that's what I'm trying.
Also,
the
president is also claiming that the agreement was not fully understood.
He's not denying that the agreement.
No, he's not denying that they had an agreement. If he was saying, "Oh,
I never said I was selling you to an Italian,"
then it's different. But what he's saying is, what he's claiming that he and Lookman agreed was, you will move, but you would move abroad. The top club is probably a club that can afford to pay
at this court price. At this court price,
what's the court price?
45 million.
Did he mention it? Did he mention it?
No, but
I mentioned it, and you are saying.
Wait, now Lookman did not also mention anything. It's implied.
Did the man mention it?
Lookman, what's the point of the question?
The point of the question is, did the man mention how much? How much?
Actually did. I think
no, he did not actually.
He didn't mention the amount. He did mention the amount. The only amount he mentioned is the amount for PSG. Okay. He did now go ahead to mention the amount or whatever they've agreed on.
Okay.
Do you understand? Because when Ronaldo's own happened, for example, we also didn't know the amount. But what we know is that there was an agreement that he will leave next summer.
Okay.
Do you understand? Okay. So it is now left for you, for Fergie, whoever, David Gill, everybody to find a solution to ensure that agreement that this summer you will leave happens. So for example, Atlanta and
Lookman.
Atlanta and Lookman right now, the point is that there is an agreement that this summer.
But Lookman mentioned that it was for above a certain amount.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That both of them should sit down. They agreed that this summer they will settle things.
What we are saying is that
they already agreed on the amount, because in Lookman's statement he said, "You guys agreed that I would leave for a certain amount, and this amount has come, and
they are not agreeing."
So they are now saying, "Yes, we said you would leave for that amount, but not to a club in
You know what would solve all of this? Paperwork. Look, at this level of business, gentleman's agreement should not exist. Yes, there are people that honor it, but at the end of the day, it's not binding. If you put it in writing, in fact, because the Atalanta president is not denying an agreement, he's not saying he doesn't want to honor it. He is saying that you misunderstood me. Paperwork is harder to misunderstand because you literally wrote it down.
It's the same case. The thing is that most of these agreements, what happens is that it's just like here in Pulse now. You've done so well. You've said, hold on. You've done so well. You already have a contract that you signed. You understand? Mm-hmm. Now, you've done so well, and then probably you speak to them that, CEO,
say Joba,
something is, So most times you can't go back to the one you signed before to come and be doing this. So based on what you have done so far, based on how you've given the dedication.
Joba, there's a reason I said at this level of business. I'm not comparing.
That's why
I'm not comparing our 120K.
That's why I said this agreement is not something you just wake up and drop something. You don't just wake up and drop. That's why they call it.
What release clauses are fair.
No, hold on.
If you want to sell someone for 45 million and you know they want to sell it.
That's why it's called gentleman agreement.
But not everybody is a gentleman. Today.
So that's why the players too. You see your crash. we never heard of him being rebellious or anything. Do you understand? But he felt aggrieved. He felt betrayed that after everything he had done and stuff, all the hard work and this thing, just simple talk that you people had and sat down to agree. You know, one keeper. Okay, this is how I'm going to do this.
Yeah, but then when you do it like that, you are actually breaking the law, because in your contract there's no way that it says that I have to let you go, and you are not refusing to play according to the contract.
The club too are not keeping up to this. Like I said, you force people to do certain things. You as a club think that you can always go back to things like this. So why agree in the first place?
Izu,
to keep him happy. And
I can agree to whatever you want at that point, since it's just verbal.
So you are lying then. That's the betrayal.
That's the importance of a contract. Sorry. An importance.
It means. Can we calm down? I want to hear Joba's thoughts on this, because Joba has been surprisingly quiet about this. Joba, gentleman's agreement or contract. I speak as the company man that you are. Like, what's your perspective on all this?
Yeah, obviously, I think Lookman dropped the ball here, because I feel like I don't know when he signed his current contract, but I feel like
still on the initial one.
Yeah,
I
think there was $1 million a year or something like that.
Yeah, there should have been a situation whereby you sit down with the club last season and say that, let's sign, maybe trigger the 1 year extension and say, let's add a release clause. If a certain club meets this release clause, and because he's trying to emotionally blackmail the club,
that's exactly what it is.
Gaslight the club.
Bro, I've seen this before.
What do you mean by you are going on strike? You're not going to play. I don't like players doing.
In the last contract that exists that you signed, that we both signed, you are a player of this club, and there's no way in that agreement that says we have to sell you.
Exactly.
So as long as you are a player of this club, there's also a part of the contract where it states the penalties for not doing what you are contractually obligated to do, which is train and play and turn up for train and be a good representative of the club. So as of this moment, you are in breach of our actual contract.
Exactly.
Because of your thoughts of an imaginary contract, which is why I will always say gentlemen's agreements should not exist.
So, an addendum to all of this. What the legal recourses are for both parties. For Atlanta,
suits.
So for Atlanta, obviously we know that they can dock his pay as if he misses up to 3 training sessions that are 48 hours apart. But for Lookman, there's an interesting legal angle to this, and he can unilaterally terminate his contract. So we all know of the Lassana Diarra trial, the Lassana ruling.
Just expand on that.
Okay, so basically, Lassana Diarra sued FIFA. Him and some other footballers, they sued FIFA, arguing against Article 17. Article 17 is basically a FIFA rule that prevents players from unilaterally terminating their contract. So FIFA is going to punish you, and they won't give you your transfer letter that would allow you to join the new club. So last year, there's the European Court of Justice ruled in favor of Lassana Diarra and other plaintiffs and called that Article 17 unlawful according to European laws, because it goes against 2 articles in European law, because workers are supposed to move freely, and when you now say you can't leave this club because you are not moving freely, and also it goes against anti-competitive practices. So they won that last year. So how does it apply to Lookman? An Italian agent, he explained, or at least he breezed through it yesterday. There's something called judicial equivalence. Because a precedent has been set. There's another landmark ruling in 2003 called the Copac ruling, which now allowed non-EU workers to be treated as EU workers. Like if your country is non-EU, but you have trade agreements.
EU being European Union.
Yes, European Union. Sorry. And you have agreements with, your country has trade agreements with an EU country. It means that they are certain, you get certain privileges, and you stop being treated as a foreign worker for certain quota. So that means a judicial precedent. This is what is called a precedent. A judicial precedent has been set for a non-EU worker to be treated similarly as an EU worker. So how is it relevant here? Because of that case, that landmark case, the Lassana Diarra case against the FIFA for Article 17, which now allows European players, or rather, the Article 17 has not been repealed yet, but FIFA are currently reviewing it. And now FIFA has put it in something like, I call it in limbo, like it's now up for debate, up for contention. So because European players in the EU now can now contest it and say, because of this ruling for the ECJ has called this illegal. Lookman can now file under it, even though he is Nigerian and non-EU, because Nigeria has several trade agreements with EU countries. So that judicial precedent that I mentioned. So because when you now argue that precedent should be able to apply for this case, it's called judicial equivalence. So it's complicated legally, but it's something that Lookman can, if this thing gets any messier. Mm-hmm. So what I feel would happen with, and that's why people are saying this Lassana Diarra case is going to be almost as impactful as the Bosman ruling. If you did not know about the Bosman ruling, it's basically a footballer's...
we can now move as free agents.
Yes, yeah. That's why we now start having free agents. Before you could not do that. So now what I think would happen now is, just like it is in Spain. In Spain, why every player has release clause is because Spanish clubs, just like they have already...
preempted the move.
Yes, you cannot hold the player at ransom. So every player has to have a release clause that allows them unilaterally break their contract, because workers must move freely. So I feel what will happen is that FIFA would mandate every club to have release clause. So it's not going to be only Spanish clubs.
Yeah, so everybody.
Yeah, it seems like what would happen along the line.
But if Lookman decides to unilaterally terminate his contract, then the Atalanta is going to
they would have to get compensation.
Compensated. And when you look at what Lookman is actually valued at, according to Transfer Market, that's 60 million euros. That's a lot more than
I feel like they'll find a way to do it.
I don't think they'll use the Transfer Market to value.
But whatever valuation that they're going to use is going to be around the same figure. It's not going to be less.
Who is going to give them the compensation? I don't think FIFA will give them the value of the transfer.
No, the way it happens in Spain, for example, is if you want to terminate your contract with the club, you go and pay them the money. How you get the money is nobody's business. So
it actually because you legally cannot also get the money from the club you want to join. That's different. That's a different kind of plan. Like we can all know about it, but if somebody really wants to like take that up and push a case, for you, I've looked this up. If someone actually wants to push a separate case on that and prove that this club didn't want to pay us the money they were supposed to pay us, and then they now gave you small change to trigger to buy out your own contract so that they will not get you technically for free or lesser than they should have. That's a separate kind of crime.
No, that's different.
Because nobody pays above the release clause.
Yeah, exactly.
In Spain, nobody pays above
the release clause. So what you do is you take your release clause money. Maybe you play 2 odds or 5 odds and you get your release clause money
and then you lose and you are stuck at this club and owing your new club money.
Athletic Club knew Barcelona were coming for Nico Williams, and that's why they went to La Liga and said, we want to see Barcelona's books. We want to see if they are able to actually register this boy. And the rumor is that they found out those details and they went to tell Nico Williams, see these people, they are actually broke. They cannot pay you. And that's the rumor actually is that's what happened and what cost the youth. So
marking at the eye level. Anyway, what our Lincoln lawyers are trying to tell you is basically that Ademola Lookman, if it gets messy enough, can actually find his way out of Atalanta as a free agent. All he has to do is come up with that dough, 2 years worth of his contract.
I don't think he's going to get help with that, though. I think both parties will find a solution.
Yeah, I think that was the point of him being very public about it. It's a case of let Atalanta know that there's no way back. Just take this for 5 million that's on the table.
Another club should just come. I also don't want him to join.
Another part of this that has been underreported so far is that Atalanta have been very public about having a one big sale per summer rule. They've built a reputation as a selling club, so they've limited it to we are never going to sell more than one key player for even no matter the amount. It's always one big sale per summer. And Retegi already moved to Alcacer, so that's another reason why.
Alcacer.
Whatever it is, you would know.
Yeah, you think I'm going to deny that? It's Alcacer.
All right, thank you very much. So they already sold Retegi to Alcacer. So, like from their perspective, that's another thing that works against gentleman's agreements. situations can change. Maybe when they agreed to that thing, it was a case of, okay, we'll make you our only big sale. And then Alcotia came with ridiculous money for Retegui.
And nobody expected Retegui to have the season he had.
Yeah. So, and then Retegui went for what, 67 million or whatever. 65 million or whatever that was. And that becomes the case of, do we really want to lose both Retegui and
No, they are two top scorers
in the same summer? But let's move away from this because we do have a lot to talk about. But it's something similar with Isak. Isak's situation might not be as easy to get out of as Lookman. Because Lookman has the advantage of Atalanta being poor. Saudi Arabia or Newcastle and their owners are very, very rich. Look, Isak has 3 years left on his contract, unlike Lookman with 2. And
I don't think there's a gentleman's agreement.
There's no gentleman's agreement. There's no agreement. And even Isak's valuation is 130.
He saw them chasing Ekitike. He did not drop transfer request then. Liverpool signed him. He got the reason as
The thing is, I think Ben Foster explained this on his podcast. Before a player can hand in a transfer request, it's the last possible move to make, because it means a lot of consequences for the player themselves. For example, Lookman has dropped his transfer request. That means that when or if he does get his transfer, any gratuities that he was being owed or anything that was supposed to come to him by way of bonuses or maybe deferred salaries or anything like that is gone. You don't have it anymore. So players don't. That's not their first port of call. It's the last thing that a player would
okay, I've tried everything else.
Exactly.
So they even request privately before putting an official. There's a reason they specify he has put in a transfer request to let you know that's the
Isak hasn't dropped a transfer request.
Yes.
He hasn't. He hasn't. He only
argue with the manager.
He went away, but
No, he told the club that he wanted to leave.
But
No,
that's
this
not,
was
that's
it
not
was a
really-
big report.
It was a big report. I don't think he dropped a formal transfer.
Can Google
No, he
it.
He told them he wanted to
He
leave.
told them he wants to leave.
Yes.
That's not a.
And then he went on strike.
It's not a formal transfer request.
But he's back though.
They did not go on
he's
strike,
back.
but he went on strike.
Yeah, I don't think he's all got up to 3 training sessions. He probably clocked that in. Man, missed 2 training sessions. The third one, I'll come back.
And to be honest, in the case of Isak also, I think it's also a stupid decision on his part because, yes, Newcastle are ready to sell, but Liverpool are not ready to pay £150 million.
Oh yeah, sorry, you are right. So yeah.
Wow.
Because the first headline here.
You know what?
Sorry, no, this headline is funny. Let me read it.
Go ahead.
Isak doesn't have the balls to hand in transfer request at Newcastle.
Joba, if you don't sack him today, the next headline will be Joba doesn't have the balls to be managing editor of Fox Sports. You argued with your direct line manager and told him his cousin was on leave. Straight up, that boss, you know not what to speak about.
It's not my fault. It's not my fault. I felt victim of headlining by Sky Sports. They used it on me.
So, I mean, it's a stupid decision on your part. Yes, they are ready to sell, but let Liverpool drop £150 million. So why are you going because or you want to? I just don't understand it. I felt the same way when Luis Suarez was at Liverpool when Arsenal made that bid. So I just don't understand when players do that.
All right, let's move away from Isak to another striker who has been in the transfer news.
Joba Ogunwale.
Although it's
We should talk about that.
yeah, like from Ajax in Europa League to Lille in the Champions League to now Birmingham City. But that's not what
That's not the
Birmingham.
story, actually. The story is much more interesting.
Birmingham-
You even said Birmingham, so
Birmingham
you're not
Birmingham
abreast with the situation. He agreed with Birmingham, and then Ipswich came, and then he decided he wanted to go to Ipswich instead, even though he already had a Birmingham medical
Plant.
setup, and then he cancelled that, went to Ipswich, even though Ajax preferred him to go to Birmingham, and then he eventually decided to Ajax, I beg.
No, Birmingham returned with Birmingham returned
with more money.
Let's, boys, if this was the Joba Ogunwale show, I would be very happy to hear your story about this. But let's talk about the more important striker in Victor Osimhen.
Wow.
It's not even shade. Like even Asmam will tell you.
Please continue.
But Victor Osimhen has been in the news lately. Completed that groundbreaking move to Galatasaray. Becomes the fourth highest earning African player in world football. Becomes the highest earning African in European football. So congratulations to him.
Get the bag.
But after he has gotten the bag, Gary Lineker and Alan Shearer have,
Michael Richards
been-
as well.
Michael Richards was there, but he
Was supporting
he was,
Osimhen,
he was on the right side of history, as he often is.
So was Lineker though.
Yeah, we'll see. But let's play the clip of what they were talking about on their show. The rest is football.
Osimhen's basically signed a deal for 3 or 4 years. I put in a group, like, I can't believe it. Like, it could do better than that, in my opinion. Alan decides to say he's not sure he's that good. So I said he'd be top 3 number 9s in the Premier League. Fact.
I mean, come on. I know you're saying Salah's a winger, but I know he's not a 9, but as a centre... Oh, come on. Salah, Isak, Haaland. There you go. There's 3.
Salah, that is a ridiculous shout, that. You might as well put David Beckham in there as well, then you silly son.
Okay, João Pedro. There you go. There's 3.
No, João Pedro is
A forward.
unbelievable. But you cannot say he's better than Osimhen.
I saw Osimhen play in a couple of times against Leicester,
Anyone score against that mob?
but he was so impressive, and I've followed his career because of that, and he was absolutely brilliant for Napoli. I do hear on the grapevine that a reason 1 or 2 of the clubs are a little bit nervous is that he sometimes can go missing for a few days.
Oh,
Apparently, there's some kind of slight question mark as to his character in that sense. But whether that's true or not, I wouldn't confirm it.
So that was the voice of Jamie Carragher and
Gary Lineker.
Gary Lineker and Michael Richards.
Just think all white men are the same.
So that was the voice of Gary Lineker and Alan Shearer. Alan Shearer's voice, I have to even tune off first because what he said was so egregious that I don't think we should address it, except you guys want to. The fact that, he was told to list 3 centre forwards in the Premier League better than Osimhen, and he went with Haaland, Isak, and Mohamed Salah. And when they told him that Salah is not a centre forward, he put João Pedro of all people to replace.
No, I won't be surprised if he has not seen more than 1 Victor Osimhen game.
Yes.
I won't be surprised.
And I also won't be surprised if we have not seen more than 1 Joao Pedro game than that Joao Pedro game. What's the game against PSG?
No, to be fair, they watch enough Premier League.
They watch enough Premier League, but they don't watch anything outside the Premier League.
And Lineker himself admitted that the first time he saw Osimhen that made him
Was
start for
against
Osimhen
Leicester.
Was against Leicester.
In the
So
Europa League.
you know the kind of
And that was
time
quite
these
a
people
long
are on.
time.
Yeah, so like he started following him after that.
Yeah, bananas.
But let's ignore Alachai because it's obviously on crack. But let's talk about Gary Lineker's statement towards the end, where he talked about he hears on the grapevine, which you would expect Gary Lineker to have access to grapevines, is that the reason there is Osimhen was not able to attract big clubs, or big clubs were nervous about Osimhen, was the issue with his character. Mm-hmm. Joba, I know this made you very happy.
No, I know. It's not like I hate to see them.
I really want to hear what you are doing, Joba.
I want to hear what he's going to say about this thing.
But again, it goes back to the thing I said when we had that argument also. I don't think it's because of his character, in fairness, because we've seen players with worse
character,
attitude and they got the move.
We've seen players with crimes. Racism is a crime.
Yeah, and they got.
I feel like there's
Travis tried to beat someone twice and got that record move to.
He beat somebody this summer. He got a move, and it became a joke that they put it in his squad that I don't bite anybody.
Somebody has a arrow case going on, and
got the move. So I don't think it's, I just think it also comes down to the fact that yes, character might have played a part. It's just that club just don't believe that he moves the needle.
Let's talk about this.
Joba. Even people wait talk, they did not say anything about needle, sewing machine, thread, nothing.
I don't know what you have to say.
Save me from this needle man. I don't know whether they are tailoring you study for school. Needle.
He's just said that guy.
To be honest, when they mention character, attitude problems, I always want them to define it because they throw it around.
No, but he did though. He did.
What did you say?
He said
sometimes
like
No, he didn't say. He said sometimes he will disappear.
Disappear where?
Yeah, like even that his specification was
That's what I'm
vague.
saying, yes.
What does that mean? Do you mean
What does
like
it mean?
it is best mentally? Do you mean that it's
know.
not? Because we never had a case where Osimhen's club was looking for him.
And
We never had.
Have though.
It rings on.
Where?
Napoli, when just before he caught COVID, there was a period where he was in Nigeria.
Is that the bad character?
That's part of it.
What are we even talking about?
Osimhen is anything, but when it comes to work ethic, you can't take work ethic away.
Like the annoying thing about this Osimhen thing is that I know for a fact that if any of these so-called big teams are taking a chance on him, they would love him because he's a player that even if he's not scoring, fans would love him because he always seems like
He did dive on pitch.
so like. But they always preempt that they would not like him before.
So whether Osimhen or whoever, whenever I hear attitude issue, whenever I hear this, I always liked because they use that blanket word. Character.
Manukone.
They use attitude. So I always like it defined because when you look at Osimhen, when they say things like this, there is no correlation with what I see on the pitch.
Yeah,
Do you understand? And the pitch is where, because there is nowhere in his club history where character or attitude has stopped him from performing.
there is in Super Eagles though, and that's the important.
He is your highest scorer.
Wait, Izu, come back.
He's the highest ever scorer.
Izu, yeah, when it comes to Osimhen, I get that the whole vague character, but with Osimhen, let's be honest, it's not vague. What he did on IG Live to Finidi George. No, I mean we can act like it is not normal. Like we've seen players do egregious stuff. That you can file that under.
I agree that
that was his national team coach, and he went out guns blazing, speaking to him like that.
And he's not going to do that if it was a white man.
Only
You don't know that. Let's not go.
Let's not about that.
Objective.
Let's focus. That's why I want to focus on the facts. Like with Osimhen, this is not just some vague grapevine stuff. Like I don't need vague grapevine to know that Osimhen has done that. And this is something that whenever I listen to James Onkassu is a white man. He's an Englishman that reports Serie A. And every time he speaks about, and this was last year, every time he speaks about Osimhen, he always brings that caveat. What happens with Finidi George? He details it. This is a white man. No,
I mean, if you're one of the best strikers in the world and everybody wants to sign you, they will pay attention to that kind of thing.
This is not conjecture. This is fact. This is something.
So that's why I said. That's why I always say. Hold on. Sorry.
Unfortunately, we don't have time for the back and forth. We will probably continue it on IG Live.
No. I'm not trying to argue too much. Tunde. No, hold on. I'm not trying to argue. That's why I said that I always prefer. If you tell me the reason clubs are not signing Osimhen is because of what he did to Finidi, it points it out. But when you use the blanket word, character, attitude, you have not said anything.
It goes to your character.
Specify it.
Well, they don't have to do
because the only thing you mention here now is the issue with Finidi. And he has not had that with any club in Europe. No,
that is my own issue because I still see it as because he has not walked it back. He has not apologized. There was no punishment for him from the NFF or Nigerian football, anything. That was serious. That was your head coach, the national team head coach, the coach of the Nigerian Super Eagles, not Chan. Oh, he also coaches Chan. Sorry, he also coaches Chan. I'm sorry.
He did not coach.
He didn't. No, I'm saying he's supposed to also coach Chan if he's the. That happened and there was no punishment, there was no recourse, there was no walking back, there was no apology. So I mean, I'm still angry about it. So
at a later time when we probably have more time to discuss it, but I'm sure there's a lot more to talk
on our new to our episodes of the podcast.
But speaking of Chan, we have to mention the less privileged English. They started their journey in where they play Zanzibar.
No, Kenya.
Yeah.
Kenya.
Is it Kenya and Tanzania, I think.
Kenya and Tanzania.
Yeah, Zanzibar is in Tanzania.
So yeah, I was right. After
Geographical lawyer.
This guy is on fire. No, but we don't do. I think maybe we should even start doing MVPs for the podcast. I think we'll start it today. We didn't plan this, but I have to give Faruq the MVP for today's podcast because it was very informative. It was. When I saw him brushing his beard, I knew we were about to get a different. He was preparing for court. He just turned on that Faruq, good man. So congratulations, we brought it today. But yes, very informative episode of the OnlyFootball Podcast. And we have to inform you that the Chan Eagles lost 1-0 to Senegal. Utter disappointment on Tuesday night. And their next game is against Nobody Cares by the Who Gives a Shit Stadium
Wow.
They are learning about that. They did not even play well. Like,
Bro, they started 9 Remo Stars players.
7.
Sorry. 9.
And played 4-4-2.
So they essentially handicapping them.
Yeah, because the idea behind you taking a lot of players is that
already be in a system
that suits them, so that you can get the best out of them. Because when Van Gaal lost Strootman prior to the 2014 World Cup and went to Feyenoord to get the backline, one of the reasons that made him change the shape was because he picked the entire Feyenoord backline and then put them there. Imagine taking that entire backline and then put them in the back two.
So that's it, guys. We did it, episode 26. Congratulations. So Ayoola, fact us fondly.
Yeah, fun fact. Osimhen's current coach, Okan Buruk, actually played with another Nigerian great, Obafemi Martins, at Inter Milan for 2 years. Or 3 years, rather. I bet you didn't know that.
Which one do we believe? You called 2 different years. You say, I bet you did that.
the last time I tell you, you don't know. You don't give me points. Well, anyway.
So it was in 2 or 3 years?
For 3 years, from 2001 to 2004.
All right, so when do we project that if we get his own on IG Live? While Ayoola thinks about that, we have to go. Thank you very much for working with us, Ayoola Kelechi and Izuchukwu Akawor, Joba Ogunwale, Faruq Ibrahim, our
Thank you, guys.
Of today. My name is Tunde Young. This is the OnlyFootball Podcast brought to you by Paul Sports Nigeria. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, tell somebody about it. But even if you forget, he's not caught.
Till they finish, please. They don't already do their dance.
This
See you
is
guys next week.
Then make a land outro now.
I mean, then I mean, they like to subscribe. You know you have to bleep that, right?
What is the example for you?
No. Why is he talking?
Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and we'll be back next week.
If today I don't kill the
Bro, find better employees. Also, Faruq might not be back because remember when during the episode Faruq told his boss, "You are wrong because you were on leave."
Hey, my bad. This was sad. At least you are walking your own back.
People have literally been selling your less for their own back. They sell people for less. I know for a fact that they sell people for less. So Faruq might not be back, but at least he put up an MVP performance in his very last episode of the
Please,
OnlyFootball
if you don't see me next week, I'm gonna leave them. Don't start to me.
OnlyFootball MVP episode 26 is gone. 27. We'll see you next week. Until then, stay jiggy.